and it's
that has a lot of lecithin. You know what lecithin is?
Yeah.
What's that needed
Amino
for?
acid. Amino acid.
How do I say it?
No.
No, lecithin is not amino acid.
Lectin?
Lectin? No, it has lecithin.
Less.
It's in the
Lecithin.
membrane cell walls.
Very, very important for the cell walls, right? Very important for strong cells. This is all antioxidant, right? So you want your cells, you're gonna visualize your cells being really strong, with like a golden aura, each cell, right? With a lot of energy, and that's when you feel more energy, when your cells are clean. So look at these, we have 12, then another 4, 16, 2, 18, and 1. I have 19 cups of greens for this whole blender. And the majority is sunflower because Ann Wigmore said this is the one with the most protein, with the most vitamins and minerals, that she felt is the one that should be what's the majority of. Okay, so the other ones, depends on what you can get. Get babies. Baby bok choy, a little of that can be in there. There's tatsoi, all those little baby greens. In Europe, they have one called matcha. They had it in Spain and France, but maybe not. But any baby greens, okay? And in New York they have them too. Okay, so greens are what's mostly in that soup, okay? Now we'll forget about these for a while. This is the base. Now all this is the extras that you guys are gonna put on for yourselves. This is the fun part. And this is what makes it unique in your own. And his avocado and apple or her cilantro, when you get home, is what's gonna help you really love it. I'll give you one. They're all over the garden too.
I know, I went to the greenhouse yesterday and ate it.
This energy soup is in the book, this exact recipe, and exactly how I have it here. I'll go over it again if you want to write it, I'll say it. Okay, and then but I have these herbs. I have little rosemary, and I'll chop it up if some of you want rosemary on top. This is culantro. This is native to Puerto Rico. It's in the family of cilantro, right? But it's a little different taste. We have cilantro. What's that?
Is it stronger?
It is stronger and it's harder, it's tougher. This is more light and easier to chew. But I'll chop it up. I have parsley. This is oregano from the Caribbean that grows like a weed. Everybody's got oregano growing in their yard. How good is oregano for you?
Oh.
Forget about eating oils, right? You take oregano in your body every 2 days and use all these herbs for their medicinal and their delicious, right? Basil. Most of I don't have it today, but most of you, if I put basil on this,
That's trust.
so, but basil sometimes is the thing that, especially Italians or my family or want to be Italians because they like the food, then they like basil.
I find basil, this body sensation that I have when I eat basil is like it opens my heart.
Yeah,
It's
basil is very
like
healing.
in here.
Well, they say that about basil, and they say digestion, and I just smell it and I feel
that
amazing.
with basil? Is it?
Yeah. Tomorrow we're gonna basil. No, next week we're gonna do stuff with basil. Okay, so look, you have here 2 cups about of vegetables. This is what's in energy soup. The vegetables could be all carrots. You could say, no, I only want 1 cup of carrots, or I want, you can put in however much you want, but there should be more greens, of course, than vegetables. So carrots, yellow squash, or zucchini. You could put some radish in if you like radish or daikon, right? At home, you might put cucumber or celery in too, but we don't do it here. You know why? Because some people have a reaction to celery. So, or some people have a reaction to cucumber. So we really, and Wigmore really filtered out any to make it universal. But then at home, like I love putting celery on. I would put almost like, I could fill it with celery. So in my house, I make it with celery as long as it's blended really well, right? But I don't do that here because, like I said, there's people out there, there's some people that eat cucumbers, they might not know it, but they're like drinking cucumber juice and then they're burping. And it's, so for some reason, in that moment, the cucumber is bothering them. So we don't do garlic and onions in it either because those are medicinal foods that should only be used when you're either feeling like you're getting sick or you're sick. And Wigmore said you don't put garlic and onion in your foods all the time because these are antibiotic foods. So if you're doing that all the time, you destroy, you're actually not doing good for your gut too. It's also gassy foods, onions and garlic, like a pregnant woman or a woman who's had a baby and nursing, garlic and onions are the first thing you tell them you don't eat those. Makes so much gas for the baby. Okay, so in a digestive sense, garlic and onions are not really good for you, okay? But let's say This is my son, and he's coming down with some. He says, Mom, I don't feel good, right? And you know what I would do? I'd crush up garlic. I'd even put it in olive oil. I'd rub it all on the bottom of his feet, and I'd put a sock on him and put him to bed. You know what happens? In 5 minutes, he has garlic breath. He starts sweating. Yeah, it brings fevers down.
Wow.
And then I might give him an enema too if he's sick, but if not, you know, just that, medicinally, garlic is wonderful. Or if I have my friend, she makes a salsa, a raw salsa, and she puts so much garlic that if you eat it, you're just instantly like this, so I call it antibiotic salsa. I'm like, do you have any of your antibiotic salsa? Yeah, you know, and so if I'm not feeling good, like I'm feeling I'm getting sick, I might eat a big spoonful of it. My husband sometimes just crushes it up, and he says sometimes he can't believe how it goes away. Sore throat, a little garlic, but not in energy soup all the time. Okay, that's one. Also, there's people that meditate and do things, and they say garlic and onions makes your mind rajastic or unsettled. And so Ann Wigmore says we want settled guts. And when you have a settled gut, you have a settled mind. That's right. So when digestion is going smooth here, you guys are going to feel better and better. Like you said, a little, and then it's going to go away. You're going to feel better and better.
What's with the green onions? Like they're always
So the thing with green onions is we didn't have any kind of green onion or anything for a long time. And then we started putting just the green part of the green onion because Ann Wigmore noticed years before that people would eat the soup more when it had that in it. So she said, you know what? It's the least of our worry. If this helps people eat that soup, then we're going to put it on. But personally, I don't eat much. If I even get one in, I feel like it takes over the whole flavor. But a lot of people are used to so much onions that this helps them. Some of you love the green onions in the soup, right? Some of you, you're like, that's it, that helps me eat it. Right? So it's not the white part, it's the green, and so it's less bothersome.
And it doesn't, as far as I can tell, it hasn't for me.
Right.
Any
It's helping you right now.
distraction or
That's right,
disturbance,
right.
You know, mentally or physically.
Exactly.
It's just sort of.
And you
gets
never know if
along.
it does. If at one point you want to say,
Yeah.
let me try, since you're into giving up, then you might one day just have the,
Yeah.
I'm going to see how I feel about it today, and you might feel,
I didn't today.
well, let's see. So anyway, look at this. You have some vegetables. You have Rejuvelac. And did you ever see these? These are lentil sprouts, sprouted lentils. They soak them, and then they sprouted them for a couple of days so they get the tail. Okay, this little bit of lentils for the whole blender. So we're talking, this is a 1/4 cup. So do you know, don't ever eat lentils like this. A lot of them. I did it once. It's the most painful experience for days.
Really?
These are so gassy. Yes, I made too many of them once. You see, I learned the hard way. I sprouted once like this many, and it blew up my bag. I had so many lentils, I couldn't get rid of them. I was walking around with like a big bag of lentils, and I said, let me make a lentil salad.
That's without cooking?
The colon queen.
Without
I did
cooking.
not cook them.
Correctly from one night to
It's
another.
worse when both of them are very gassy. Lentils, you gotta go sprouted and blend, and then you're getting it. I think if you cook them, you're destroying too many enzymes, and then if you don't cook them and you don't blend them, what happened to me? I made a beautiful salad with all these chopped herbs and lemon and avocado, and my kids said, oh, Mommy, they took a small cup like this, and they said, Mom, that was so good, and they left, and I said, what are you doing? You're gonna eat more, I have too much, these boys. And they said, no. See, they know because they know from their guts. They know it'll fall. I was like, really? So Mama sat down and ate a big bowl because Mama didn't want to waste it. I mean, really, 2 hours later, I was like, what? And it hurt for 2 days. I was so, we won't go there. It was ridiculous. You just don't do it because this colon is not the healthiest, but it's not an unhealthy one either. And I think for most colons. So look at this little amount. This would be for at least 8 people. So do you understand how much lentils you need? Again, more is not better. You might hear lentils are good for you and they have so much of this, but you only need a little bit. You don't need, like I thought, more is better, right? So look at this, the hard things. The lentils, 1 cup of Rejuvelac. If you don't have your Rejuvelac, use water. But then you have nothing to preserve it, so you better eat it right away. Some of you would say, this is how I want my energy soup. I can eat it without the Rejuvelac.
How about coconut?
It's not coconut water and sugar in it. And coconut, are you getting it from a fresh coconut? And maybe. If it's from the box of coconut, I don't believe that is only coconut water. It's I've had so many coconuts here, and when I drink any of those boxes, I say,
How the coconut water
that
stay in
something
that
else is in there.
shelf for
Something
years?
else is in there, or it changes. In the box, it becomes sugar, or
And it's pasteurized.
it's
Maybe
something,
that's
it's
what
just, you know, if you get a fresh coconut, once in a while, sure. Because that usually doesn't have a lot of sugar and it's fresh, but you don't want to go there. It's better water, blend your greens, and then eat it within that hour, okay? So look at this, I have my lentils, and I'm gonna put my 2 cups of vegetables in. Any way you want it, if you want it all zucchini. I had a lady that told me I didn't want it with any vegetables. She actually just did it with her greens.
And those were what?
That was a little bit of yellow squash, zucchini, and carrots. Personally, I love it with all carrots because it makes it a little sweet.
Yeah. And I put green zucchinis.
Yeah, green zucchini
Green
instead of yellow, right? I don't know why we show yellow too.
Yeah.
I think Lalita just liked to show it. And again, any amount between 1 and 2 cups of vegetables, okay?
And also because they say that yellow zucchinis are better for the springtime. And green zucchinis are for winter.
Like Ayurvedic.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess here in Puerto Rico, we just have them all the time.
Exactly.
Because we're always in spring and summer. But I like the zucchini better too. I think the zucchini is I don't know what it is, it just seems like a better vegetable.
Yeah. I
Okay.
agree.
So, right, so I'm gonna save again all this stuff for after. I will put a pinch of this dulse, and you're all gonna taste this dulse. This is how dulse is in the ocean, and then they dry it, it's in the leaf. And it has so much of a better flavor like this. I hope when you eat it in your soup, you're gonna really like it. And you could buy it in any Whole Foods, or you order it from the company that we order it from. It is so satiating. Do you like it? Are you eating it, the dulse? The seaweed? This?
That's what I was
The
thinking.
salt?
Do you like it? Not so much. You're not used to the, is it fishy for you?
I
Because
love
it gives so many minerals though.
It's my snack.
I know.
Can you
She's
use
not used to it yet.
You're getting dry.
They gave you that one or they gave you the powdered one?
This one, the leafy one.
That one?
Yeah. Yeah, try to put, it's good because it really helps anybody that's like having low blood pressure. A little bit of that on your tongue and you feel right away kind of, okay.
And I get it in
minerals.
Thrive Market.
Uh-huh,
and
Thrive
it's
Market.
Much cheaper.
Good.
Yeah, because I get a lot.
Uh-huh,
Much
that's good
cheaper.
to know.
And they
So
have
that's a good
sales.
place to buy it from, Thrive Market
Thrive Market.
or Maine Coast Seaweed. That's where we get it.
And they have both.
Okay, so just take this for example. When we make things in these blenders that are so powerful, I'm putting the hard stuff in the liquid and I'm gonna just blend that first and then we'll do the greens. So I don't just throw everything in and blend it. You understand? We're always breaking up the hard stuff first and most. These blend up very easy.
How
And
much
I
would you black is that? How much would you black?
1 cup for this whole blender. So let's just say even if you have one of these NutriBullets or you're making it for 1 person, you would just put a little liquid in, right? And a little bit of carrots and seaweed. And if you have the lentils, if you don't, blend a bunch of greens with a carrot. Really? You're getting a lot of vitamins and minerals. That's the main object. Okay, so what I do is I blend this up first, all the way. Okay, that's like my base, right? Very simple. Now we're gonna put.
Excuse me, I just want to say, with many people talking all the time,
Yes.
it's so difficult for
Yes.
me to listen to you
Thank
and to get the connection and to
Right, the
understand.
energy
the
soup
information.
connection.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem, thank you. Thank you. I need to slow down. So, once the base, the acoustics are not good in here anyway. So once the base is made, right, it has everything in it except the greens and the rest, all this is gonna fit in there. Isn't that funny? So that's why when you eat that little bit of soup, you're eating a huge salad, do you see? If I made a big salad for all of us, this would be like everyone a big handful. So this is what we'll do. If you don't have purslane, you can still make energy soup. You just put in what you have, or if you like cilantro, you might blend that right in there, right? You might blend an herb, like parsley's a little tough, so you might blend the parsley right in. All right. If you don't have a lot of greens, you find the darkest greens you have, like he's saying kale is great, baby kale, even romaine lettuce you can put in here. Really bland lettuces are fine too. Let's put our baby spinach. Baby spinach would be better than the big spinach, the adult, just like the kale. the flavor, you don't even taste. And this makes it very green, right? I like to say green. Okay, so when we get to here, I usually blend a little bit. So let's blend it a little bit. And these machines, you can put them on high and then just pulse it. You can just kind of like that, right? So we're not over blending. Kind of like chopping, like a chewing. Dun, 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 right? Now we're gonna do this whole bowl. I usually do these guys last because they're kind of more dainty and delicate. They don't need as much blending. So the less I do it usually that way. Okay, so here we go. And you know, like she's saying, in every way, when you make any food, and me too, you have to be more centered and not be chaotic, right? Same with what you're learning with eating, right? When we're driving, everything, we gotta be more conscious, right? Okay, so here we go. We're gonna put a big handful in, and I usually just push it in. Notice I'm not gonna sit here and go, do you ever see people at the blender, and they look so angry and they're beating it up? I said, don't do that. They're sacrificing their life for you. They love you. You're about to make them, you're about to go through the whole compost system with them. Okay, so be in a good space. Here we go again. Okay, see how it's going? Look how a big handful like this blends down to like a cup of soup, right? So this is also why one salad a day isn't going to help someone heal something. They need so much green. I think Lalita tells you later in a class about alkalining the body, right? When people's body are very acidic, that it takes something like 20 units of greens, of chlorophyll, alkalinity to negate like a little bit of acidity in your body. You know, like I tell people, I have a friend who drinks 1 shot of wheatgrass every morning, but the rest of the day he eats horrible. I mean, he goes to Subway, he goes to a bar late at night, he's eating, you know, pastrami sandwiches, he's drinking beer every night, and he thinks that wheatgrass is going to keep him healthy. And I'm going, you're going to slide, you know, because the wheatgrass isn't going to do it. You need a lot more greens to be more in balance, you know? Especially when you're doing all that and living in New York, because if you're getting all the toxicity, right? Am I going to fit it all? You know I am because I've been doing it, so we know. Elba has it all rigged. Here we go. Buckwheat, look at this. We're just going to be... Did you ever think you'd eat so much green? No. Did you realize when you came here you were entering the green adventure?
No,
You're in green lockdown? And don't you like the idea that you're eating a whole food? You know, how many people are into juicing? And you love juices, but well, look at all that fiber that comes out. Doesn't something tell you, like, I should be eating that fiber, I think?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know? And you can't eat all that fiber from the amount of juice, no? Okay, so this should be a little more blended than this. See, and some of you say, no, I like it that way. Okay, if you want to do that at home, you can. But really, to get it to be the very well absorbable, we do it a little bit more. Okay, so I just do it. Sorry. Okay, that's it, I stopped. We need a wooden table in here, because the metal. Okay, so look at this. Can you believe I fit all of it in? Isn't that funny? So we have up here celery chopped, right? Avocado that Elba just mashed. You don't need to whip it in a blender, avocado. It changes the flavor, so just mashed. The green onions, a little bit of dulse, ginger, lemon, and then I told you about these herbs. And I'm going to chop up the herbs, and you can put them on top. Okay, so what we're going to do